Ugh, you're so annoying. Both you and Emily are really annoying. I wish you would both just disappear. James hurled these unbelievable insults at me and our daughter. Just as I thought I couldn't trust him anymore, an incident occurred. Emily. One day, when I returned home from work, I found Emily sitting on the ground in the yard. Her knees were hugged tightly, and her hands were trembling from the cold. Even though she was wearing a coat, her exposed cheeks and the back of her hands were turning red and black from the cold. Seeing my face, Emily gave a relieved but weak smile. Mom, welcome back. Why are you in the yard? What happened? Where's Dad? Emily, still smiling faintly, muttered resignedly. He went on a family trip with Mia. It's bad enough to take only her younger sister on a trip, but to specifically tell Emily and leave her behind is a despicably malicious act. What does he think of Emily's existence, her life? James must think I'm a weak woman with a low income. And yes, that might be true. But sometimes, a mother becomes strong. We don't need a father like him. I am Karen. A housewife in my 40s. I have 2 daughters. Emily, a 2nd grader in elementary school. And 3-year-old Mia. When Mia started kindergarten, I began working part-time. I hadn't worked since giving birth to Emily, so it was exhausting both physically and mentally. However, I was happy to interact with adults more, having had little social interaction until then. Mom, I cooked some rice. What? Emily did. Wow, thank you. When I got home 30 minutes after Emily did, she proudly pointed at the rice cooker. I was touched by her thoughtfulness in helping out, knowing how tired I was from my part-time job. Until recently, I would even get her clothes ready for her, in the morning. When I tried to hug Emily out of happiness, she quickly dodged. Geez, Mom, I always tell you I don't like hugs. It made me a bit sad, but my daughters were growing up fast. Still, I was troubled by my rebellious eldest son lately. Ugh, what is this food? It's disgusting. My eldest son, no, my husband, James, exclaimed deliberately. The rice is too soft. Disgusting. How can anyone eat this? It's garbage. Indeed, today's rice was a bit too soft. I had already told James that Emily had cooked the rice today while I was preparing dinner. Even so, I couldn't understand why he had to make such a fuss about it. Hey, James, stop it. What? Why are you mad? I'm just telling the truth. It's not my fault. Emily bit her lip and glared at James. Hey, do you think it's okay to look at your parent like that? You're really insolent. You're not cute at all. You can't even cook rice properly. You're a failure as a girl. Those are not words you should say to an elementary school girl. Furious, I took a deep breath. At that moment, Mia popped her head between us. Daddy, can't you eat the rice? I'll put a magic spell on it. She said this while showing a packet of seasoning. Standing on her tiptoes, she sprinkled it over James's rice. Make it tasty, make it tasty. There, Daddy. You shouldn't be picky. Eat a lot and grow big. The tense atmosphere instantly softened. James's face relaxed, and he patted Mia's head. Thank you, Mia. You're so cute. Yep, I'm cute. And Emily is cute, too. Huh? But Mia is cuter. Daddy, I love you. Mia looked up at James with an innocent smile. She is truly a magician. She easily silenced James, who had been so mean and sneering at Emily. We don't have an exceptionally good family relationship, but it was fairly normal. James wasn't very interested in me or our daughters. Even when Mia had trouble with friends. Huh. So? What do you want me to do about it? He responded indifferently. However, he doesn't drink excessively or gamble. And he doesn't use physical force to get his way. He just leaves everything related to the house and our daughters to me. He's not exactly a bad person. I had resigned myself to thinking this was typical of a man who lacks a sense of fatherhood. Things started to fall apart about 6 months ago. James came home drunk and unusually cheerful one day. Hey, the king has returned. He began bothering the girls who were about to go to bed. "Daddy, don't stick to me. You smell." "Don't say that. Daddy is a good guy, right? You like me, right? Stop it." Looking back, it was from that day Emily started to avoid James, calling him smelly, and James began to find Emily not cute and annoying. Even on days when he wasn't drinking, Emily would glare at him and call him smelly. I couldn't smell it due to my chronic rhinitis, but teenage girls can be very sensitive. Since Emily didn't insult him to his face, I thought it was just part of growing up and decided to watch over her. The bigger issue was James. I brought some souvenirs. When James came home from work, he proudly announced this and showed us a box of cakes. For once, even Emily smiled. But when we opened the box, there were only 2 cakes. Thinking they were just for the girls, I quietly felt a pang of disappointment as I loved cake too. "Okay, Mia, here's your chocolate cake. You like it, right?" "Yeah. I love it. And this cheesecake is..." James chuckled menacingly. "It's Daddy's." Emily's smile vanished instantly. She turned her back on James, muttering something like a ridiculous, and switched on the TV. I couldn't help but let out an irritated "huh" at this blatant provocation. Wait a minute. Where's Emily's? This is ridiculous. It seemed James had been expecting this confrontation from the start, and he grinned obnoxiously. "Well, I bought it with my money. You have no right to complain. Here, Mia, let's eat together." "Yeah, let's eat. Mommy, Emily, let's share." Innocent Mia brushed off James's malice. She happily hopped around and started setting out plates and forks for 4 people. "Actually, it's just for Daddy and Mia." James hesitated, but when Mia turned to him with her beaming smile, he bit his lip. Even so, Emily looked uncomfortable. So I ran to the nearest convenience store and bought a bunch of sweets. "All right, let's start a sweets party." Finally, a smile returned to Emily's face. In contrast, James clicked his tongue and pointedly ate Emily's favorite cheesecake. He made loud chewing noises, trying to make a point, and he was still complaining the next morning. "You're spoiling Emily too much. Buying her cake just because she whined? You're making her more and more spoiled. She needs to be disciplined." "What do you mean by discipline? Giving me a cake to hurt Emily is discipline? That's just being cruel to Emily. And Mia can't enjoy her cake that way. Think about their feelings." James probably couldn't keep up with Emily growing up. But responding to a rebellious daughter with a rebellious attitude himself? He needed to realize he was a parent. "You're her father, for God's sake." James slammed his hand on the table. "Yeah, I'm her father. But that brat disrespects me all the time. It pisses me off." His voice was loud and aggressive, like a thug. "Ugh. You're so annoying. Both you and Emily are really annoying. I wish you would both just disappear." If these were the words of a rebellious son, I might be able to handle it as a mother. But James is Emily's father. A father should never say that to his daughter. "Disappear? What are you talking about? Are you serious? All right, enough. I'm done talking to you. I have work. Unlike you, I'm busy. If you want to talk more, pay me $10 for 3 minutes. You can afford that with your part-time job, right?" James couldn't contain his laughter, spitting rudely. "Your part-time job pays about $8 an hour, right? How dare you complain to me with that kind of income? You should be making my life comfortable since I support you. So, deal with that brat Emily. Make sure she stops being spoiled. Got it?" My whole body felt hot. I was boiling with anger. All the nasty words I wanted to hurl at James bubbled up inside me, but I couldn't speak. I was probably red-faced and opening and closing my mouth like a fish. Wow, what a face. Why did I marry such a nagging ugly woman? Oh right, because Emily was born. So, my life got messed up because of Emily? Everything is Emily's fault. James smirked and left for work. I held back my urge to scream and pounded my chest hard. Luckily, Emily and Mia were still asleep. Of course, I hated James, but I was also angry at myself. I want to protect Emily and Mia. I crouched down and cried silently. I felt utterly powerless. Even though I want to leave James right now, I can't. As James pointed out, my part-time job pays less than $10 an hour. By myself, I can't provide the same lifestyle for my daughters. As much as I hate to admit it, we need him. I feel so powerless and ashamed, and the tears won't stop. Mom, good morning. Mom, are you okay? I hear Emily and Mia's voices behind me. I can't let them see their mom crying. I was cowering and couldn't even reply. After a while, I take a deep breath and wipe my tears away. Then, I put on my usual cheerful mom face. Sorry, good morning, both of you. I will make breakfast right away, so please wait. As I tried to head to the kitchen, Emily grabbed my hand tightly. Mia held my other hand. The warmth of their hands filled me with resolve. I want to protect them. I decided to be even stronger. Despite trying to talk with James afterward, it was pointless. He wouldn't listen. Emily's bad attitude is the problem. He stubbornly repeated. Admittedly, Emily was clearly avoiding James, so I had to address it. But he smells. Even though it's understandable given her age, it's not good to show it in her attitude. Even her father gets hurt by it. I tried to reason with her, but Emily hesitated and left her words hanging. It's just. I really hate Dad's smell. Can't you smell? Tears filled Emily's eyes. She finally opened up about her feelings. Sweet smell from Dad? I was perplexed, but Emily nodded. Even so, the relationship between James and Emily didn't improve. James doted on Mia and treated Emily poorly. Mia is so adorable. I'm happy as long as Mia is here. I wanted to speak up, but Emily stopped me. Saying anything would just lead to a pointless fight. It's stupid to say only Mia. Emily muttered quietly, so only I could hear, and shrugged in exasperation. The incident happened this weekend. Unusually, I had to work a half-day part-time on Saturday. You're working on a Saturday? Well, I'll look after Mia, so you can go to work without worrying. You might earn enough for tonight's dinner. Right? James's sarcastic tone annoyed me, but I thought he could handle Mia since he adored her. I didn't want James to mistreat Emily while I wasn't around, so I arranged for Emily to play at a friend's house in the morning. After work, I hurried home, arriving at 2 p.m. I had expected to be back by 1 p.m., but work took longer. Did James give Emily and Mia lunch? Or are they waiting for me? As I quickly unlocked the front door, I sensed something from the yard. Our yard is tiny, just big enough for the potted cherry tomatoes Emily brought home from school. It's winter now, so the tomatoes aren't growing, and the yard isn't a place the girls usually play. I had a bad feeling, so I quietly peeked into the yard. What? There, sitting on the ground, was Emily. I rushed over to her, and her hands, hugging her knees, were shaking from the cold. Emily. Why? Even though she was wearing a coat, her exposed cheeks and the backs of her hands were red and black from the cold. I took her icy hands and rubbed them to warm them up. Emily saw my face and gave a relieved but weak smile. Mom, you're home. I'm sorry for keeping you waiting. But why are you in the yard? What happened? Where's Dad? Still smiling faintly, Emily murmured resignedly. Dad went on a family trip with Mia. I remembered how unusually cheerful James was this morning, probably because he was happy to spend time with Mia. I had dropped Emily off at her friend's house and then headed to work. I had told James that Emily would be back by noon. Apparently, when Emily came home around lunchtime, James and Mia were just leaving. A trip, a family trip? The fact that he told Emily it was a family trip was malicious and cruel. Not only did he leave her behind, but he didn't even give her the house key, leaving her out in the cold. What does he think Emily's existence, her life is? I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. You must have been so cold. It's okay, now. I hugged Emily tightly. Sitting on the cold, damp ground, Emily finally started to cry. I don't want to see Emily's sad smile or her tears anymore. All right, we're moving out. Just us. What? Emily's eyes widened. I had been planning the move for a while. Now was the time to act on it. But what about Mia? Mia will be fine. I reassured Emily and immediately started preparing to move. While packing, I called James. It took over a dozen attempts before he finally answered. What's with all the calls? It's creepy. James knew exactly why I was calling so persistently. Where are you, leaving Emily alone? Oh, just out with Mia. She's my kid too, you know. What's wrong with taking her out? Taking her out is fine, but abandoning Emily is cruel. I tried to stay calm, but my voice naturally grew sharper. I feared James might explode, but surprisingly, he was nonchalant. Emily's a grade schooler. She'll be fine. You're being overprotective. He seemed to be enjoying his so-called family trip. I could hear what sounded like theme park music in the background. Bring Mia back. No way. Don't act like you own her. Mia loves me more than she loves you. James laughed loudly. I wanted to cover my ears against his obnoxious laugh, but I could faintly hear Mia's voice. Is that a call from Mom? Then the call was abruptly cut off. No matter how many times I called back, James didn't answer. With no other choice, I left a note on the table saying we were leaving, and Emily and I left the house. James called late at night. Where are you? Why aren't you home? I left a note. Emily and I can't deal with you anymore. So we left. What? What about dinner? Even now, he's worried about dinner. I was too stunned to speak. Are you kidding me? Your job is to cook and clean. Get back here now. I'm not coming back. What? Then what about dinner tonight? Leaving suddenly is unfair. I stayed silent. Daddy. I'm hungry. I heard Mia's whining voice in the background. Daddy. Hey, Daddy. Food. Mia, Mom left us, so there's no food. Such a hassle. Should we order takeout? But we spent a lot on the trip. This is such a pain. Even though I worried about Mia, I hung up the phone. James could enjoy his time with his beloved Mia. 3 days passed. James called frequently, but I ignored every call. This morning, the phone rang incessantly from early on. It would ring, stop, and then ring again. It seemed urgent. I figured it was time, so I answered. I've called so many times. What have you been doing? Get back here now. I told you, I'm not coming back. Shut up. Come back. Just do something about this. There was a hint of exhaustion in James's voice. He was probably tired from being with Mia all the time since he never involved himself in childcare before. Reluctantly, I returned home. As soon as I opened the door, Mia came running like a puppy. She came running and threw herself into my arms. Mommy. Welcome back. Mia, I'm home. Did you miss me? Not at all. I'm fine. Mia answered brightly with a big smile. Behind her, James shuffled toward me. Where have you been wandering all this time? With dark circles under his eyes, James looked resentful. I left a note saying we were leaving. More importantly, where did you take Mia without telling me? Well, I took her to an amusement park. Before James could finish, Mia interrupted. Daddy took me to the amusement park. Oh, Mia, that's nice. Did you have fun with Daddy? Yeah, and Laura was with us too. Laura? I turned slowly to James, who was looking up at the ceiling. James, who is Laura? James continued to avoid my gaze, searching for an excuse. Well, Laura is just. Mia, beaming, revealed the truth before he could finish. Laura is my new mom. I have 2 moms now. Isn't that great? I gently patted Mia's head. No, Mia, there's only one mom, and that's Karen. Right, Karen. James swallowed hard. Having your child call your affair partner, Mom, is the worst. I said in a surprisingly low voice. We need to get a divorce. Because of your affair? No, wait. Don't talk about divorce. It's not what you think. It's over with Laura. James, who always acted so tough, was now clinging to me desperately. I knew about your affair. What? Emily told me. She said she smelled something sweet on you. She avoided you not just because of the smell, but because she knew you were cheating. Hearing that Emily knew seemed to finally get through to James, and he grimaced. Still, he couldn't stop making excuses. I was just fooling around with Laura. It wasn't serious. Besides, it's over now. Tell Emily it was a misunderstanding. Let's not get divorced. Just 3 days ago, he'd taken Mia on a fake family trip with his affair partner. How could he say it was over? I wanted to point that out, but instead, I just nodded. You got dumped by your affair partner, huh? James nodded silently. You're a dad with kids. Someone who can so easily destroy his family won't find happiness in remarriage. You're just saying whatever you want now that you've left. I'm not the bad guy. It's Mia's fault Laura left. James pointed accusingly at Mia. Mia's fault? You had fun at the amusement park, right? Yeah, but when you left, I brought Laura over to the house. That's despicable. What was I supposed to do? You left. Laura left after taking care of Mia for half a day. That coward. James, who had been agitated, soon slumped his shoulders. And what's with Mia? She's so difficult. She's a sweet girl. Mia was trying to stop our fight by bringing us snacks. I couldn't hold any more snacks, and James's pants pockets were stuffed full. But Mia still ran to get more snacks. At the amusement park, she kept getting lost. And after we got home, she threw a fit over dinner. I ordered both fettuccine alfredo and lasagna. But she cried that she didn't want either. Mia doesn't like either fettuccine alfredo or lasagna. Then I ordered curry, but she kept crying. Of course. Mia likes plain rice with seasoning on top. She can eat curry, but I always serve it in a separate dish. What? That's ridiculous. Mia is impossible. She wouldn't go to bed, and when she did, she woke up crying. When am I supposed to sleep? No wonder James had dark circles under his eyes. Usually, he slept in a different room from me and the girls. He must have heard the noise, but ignored it because he thought it didn't concern him. Mia is difficult outside too. She suddenly runs off. I thought she was just excited at the amusement park, but she also runs into the street. I tried walking her to kindergarten, but it was impossible. James was handed more snacks by Mia, who looked up at him with a smile. James didn't smile back and remained expressionless. He sat down in the hallway, holding his head. I'm exhausted. Your parenting is terrible. You failed at raising her. You're a terrible mother. I knelt in front of James, leaning in close. Me? A terrible mother? You're the one who didn't even know what kind of child Mia is. You're the one who failed as a father. Mia is 3 years old. What have you been doing these past 3 years? James's face turned red with anger. Shut up. I work, so the kids are your responsibility. Stop burdening me. Just come back home. I looked straight at James, lowering my eyebrows. Did I fail at parenting? Yeah, you totally failed. I see. I stood up straight and looked down at James with cold eyes. You grew up to be a man who doesn't care about his kids and cheats on his wife. I failed as a parent, and now you're a lousy man. What? You bully the rebellious child and abandon the one who doesn't obey you. And you call yourself a father? We don't need a failure of a father. James couldn't stand up under my pressure. I had always thought that raising the kids was my job and had been considerate because James was providing for us. But now, seeing how foolish James truly was, I couldn't continue this family. Come back? No. I'm here to pick up Mia. We don't need you, James. I'm not your mom. I don't have to tolerate your selfishness. What? Are you mad? James, usually so arrogant, lost his nerve as soon as I talked back. I'm sorry. I was wrong to cheat. But I'll break up with Laura. She's terrible. She said she wanted to take cute little Mia if we got married. But she couldn't even handle half a day. She's useless. She still lives with her parents at 30 and can't even cook properly. You're the only one who can be a mother to Mia. Who had just called me a failure as a mother. Before the words were even out of his mouth, he was already trying to cover it up with nonsense. I realized from the bottom of my heart that he was truly untrustworthy. Yes, I am the mother to Emily and Mia, and I will never abandon them. I will protect them. Then I will, as their father. I cut him off. It's too late. We don't need you, James. Go back to your mother and get raised again. James's hands trembled slightly on the floor, out of anger or despair. He breathed heavily, looking down. Daddy, here's some candy. Mia, worried, piled candy in front of James. James looked up slightly and took Mia's hand. Mia. You love Daddy, right? Yeah, I love you. So you don't want Daddy to go away, right? I don't mind if you're gone. James's smile froze. What? But you love Daddy, right? Yeah, I love you. About this much. Mia pressed her index fingers together. I couldn't help but laugh. That's basically zero. Then Mia spread her arms wide. And I love Mommy this much. She ran down the hallway, shouting. From here to here, I love Mommy. I love Mommy bigger than our house. I love Mommy as big as the universe. Mia's love was unstoppable. As her smile brightened, James's face turned pale. So, James, we don't need you. Goodbye. Ah. James half raised his right hand, but he didn't have the energy to stop us. I picked up Mia and left the house we had shared with James. Left alone, James seemed to have no choice but to call back his affair partner, Laura. Even if she's bad at housework, she's better than James, who can't do anything. With the troublesome kids gone, there's no obstacle to rekindling their love. I found out about them from a neighborhood mom friend who called me. She was shocked to see an unfamiliar woman coming in and out of my house. I thanked her for her concern and explained the situation to clear up any misunderstandings. The rumors quickly spread throughout the neighborhood and somehow even reached James's workplace. It really is a small world. About a month after I left home, I called James. What? Karen? He sounded overjoyed. I missed you. How have you been? Did you miss me? I've been waiting for you to contact me. Really? Even while living with your affair partner? What? How did you? No, but I kicked her out. That's a lie. You got dumped, didn't you? What? Rumor had it that James became uncomfortable at work after everyone found out he cheated and his wife left him, so he quit. He probably thought he'd quickly find a new job since he was good at his work. You got told, don't act all high and mighty while you're unemployed, right? What? How do you know that? Don't act all high and mighty while you're unemployed. That was what his affair partner said to him before she left. I heard from the same mom friend that they had a huge fight and she screamed it outside our house. You left an uncomfortable workplace, but you couldn't find another job, could you? James went silent. I clearly hit the mark. And at home, you didn't even bother to put your dishes in the sink, right? Even your affair partner couldn't tolerate an arrogant freeloader. Ugh. I told you you were a failure, and you still couldn't grow up. James, hurt by me, our children, and his affair partner, must be completely broken. I didn't contact you because I was worried about you or wanted to get back together. I stated emotionlessly. Sign the divorce papers I sent you. I had no other reason to contact him. Perhaps not wanting to be criticized anymore, James agreed to the divorce. With a lawyer's help, I received alimony and a fair share of the assets. My daughters and I won't have any financial troubles for the time being. Sorry, I'm late. As I came home from work, a wonderful smell filled the house. Oh, we're having curry tonight. Correct. Grandma and I made it together. Wow. I can't wait to eat. I had returned to my parents' home with my daughters. Though my parents aren't wealthy and Emily had to change schools. Friends can be made anywhere. But I only have one mom. I hesitated to rely on my parents, but Emily encouraged me. Now, with their help, I can work full-time. Hey, Mom. I made the carrots in the curry into star shapes. Isn't that great? My parents even humor Mia's quirks and spontaneous actions with a smile. They seem to have more patience with their grandchildren. They were stricter with me as a child. Emily and Mia, your curry is delicious. There's a secret ingredient. Can you guess what it is? Love? Emily gave a wry smile. The correct answer is chocolate. Mia couldn't hold back and revealed the answer. This ordinary life feels so overwhelmingly happy, it brings tears to my eyes.